The year is 1788. A fleet of British ships arrives on the shores of a vast and ancient land. Australia, a continent isolated for millennia, is about to be irrevocably changed. Among the human travelers hidden from view are a few stowaways European rabbits. Initially kept in small numbers, these creatures would soon become symbols of a monumental ecological blunder. Though seemingly insignificant at first, their arrival would set in motion a chain of events with devastating consequences for the Australian ecosystem. The indigenous flora and fauna of Australia had evolved over millions of years in isolation. They were utterly unprepared for the arrival of a creature like the European rabbit. With no natural predators to keep their numbers in check, the stage was set for an ecological catastrophe. The rabbits, initially confined to small areas, began to breed. Their numbers increased steadily, and with each passing generation, their impact on the land became more pronounced. In 1859, a wealthy landowner named Thomas Austin decided to recreate a piece of his English homeland on Australian soil. He imported and released 24 wild rabbits onto his estate in Victoria, intending to hunt them for sport. This seemingly innocuous act would prove to be a grave miscalculation with far-reaching consequences. Austin's rabbits, met with ideal breeding conditions, began to multiply at an alarming rate. Within a few short years, Austin's property was overrun with rabbits. What began as a small, controlled population had exploded into a full-blown infestation. The rabbits, highly adaptable and with a prodigious ability to reproduce, quickly spread beyond the confines of Austin's estate. Their numbers swelled, and they began to encroach on neighboring properties, their appetites laying waste to crops and pastures. Australia proved to be an ideal environment for rabbits to thrive. The climate was temperate, food was plentiful, and most importantly, there were no natural predators equipped to control their numbers. Female rabbits can produce multiple litters per year, with each litter containing several offspring. This, combined with a short gestation period, meant that rabbit populations could explode in a very short amount of time. The rabbits' rapid spread was facilitated by their ability to adapt to a variety of habitats. From the fertile plains to the arid outback, they found ways to survive and reproduce. Their burrowing habits allowed them to shelter from the elements and evade predators, while their voracious appetites decimated native plant life, leaving behind a trail of ecological devastation. Section 4. The land laid waste, a continent under siege. The unchecked growth of the rabbit population had a catastrophic impact on the Australian ecosystem. Native plants, unable to compete with the rabbits' relentless grazing, began to disappear. This in turn affected native animal populations that relied on these plants for food and shelter. The delicate balance of the Australian ecosystem was thrown into disarray. The economic toll of the rabbit invasion was equally devastating. Farmers, faced with the destruction of their crops and grazing land, struggled to stay afloat. The rabbits' insatiable appetites led to widespread soil erosion, as they stripped the land bare of vegetation, leaving it vulnerable to wind and rain. The once fertile land was transformed into a dust bowl, incapable of supporting life. Section 5. Holding the line. Australia's fight back. Faced with an unprecedented ecological and economic crisis, the Australian government took drastic measures to control the rabbit population. They introduced a series of initiatives ranging from bounties on rabbit pelts to the introduction of the myxoma virus, a disease that proved fatal to rabbits. However, the most ambitious project was the construction of vast, rabbit-proof fences. These fences, spanning hundreds of kilometers, were erected to block the rabbits' advance and protect valuable agricultural land. The construction of these fences was a monumental undertaking, requiring years of back-breaking labor and significant financial investment. While the fences were successful in slowing the rabbits' spread in some areas, they could not entirely stem the tide of the invasion. Section 6. A legacy of resilience, living with the invasion's scars. The rabbit invasion of Australia stands as a stark reminder of the unintended consequences of human actions on the environment. Though over a century has passed since Thomas Austin's fateful decision, the legacy of the rabbit plague is still felt today. Australia's ecosystem bears the scars of the invasion, with many native species still struggling to recover. Despite the ongoing challenges, Australia has shown remarkable resilience in adapting to the presence of rabbits. The government continues to implement control measures, and researchers are constantly seeking new ways to manage rabbit populations. The fight against the rabbit invasion is a testament to human ingenuity and a stark reminder of the fragility of the natural world.